Hi, it's Dia. Today I'm going to do something a little different because Easter's coming, and you're going to need hard-boiled eggs and Sharpie markers. You'll also need a piece of white paper, scissors, rubbing alcohol, and either a Q-tip or an eyedropper. Now for the first egg, as you can see, all I did was put some scribbles of lighter, more pastel-y colors on the surface of the egg. And I was really not neat because I wanted to see what this would look like, even if it was just like scribbled on by a kid, if you're going to be doing this with a child. Now I didn't have an eyedropper, so I took the rubbing alcohol and I dipped a Q-tip into the alcohol, and I dripped it on top of the egg. Now what that does, it acts like a solvent, since the Sharpie markers are alcohol based, and you could see that the colors start to blend and kind of morph together. Between the Sharpie markers and the rubbing alcohol, there were some fumes, so I recommend either having a window open or doing this in a very wide open area. Now I set that egg aside for a bit so it could dry. And for the second egg, I decided that I was going to actually try to recreate either a coloring image or a traditional Pesinka Russian Easter egg that we have in our family. I was going to outline first with black like it would be in a coloring book, but then I figured, you know what, let me make this a little bit more traditional, and I figured I would just give it a whirl and see how it came out if I was just going to wing it. So first thing, just so you know, coloring on these eggs is not easy, but it's really fun. So just imagine any design. Now, I went for not a super traditional, but like I said, I tried to recreate those Russian Easter eggs that I grew up with in my family. So I kind of modernized it a little bit because obviously the Sharpies come in beautiful bright colors, and with an homage to coloring, I wanted to make them bright and beautiful. So obviously you can see that this is a tulip, and I wanted to utilize all of the Sharpie colors because there's so many nice, pretty, bright, bold colors that I decided, rather than repeating the tulip motif all around, I would do several different flowers and make the egg look, in my opinion, interesting and colorful and happy. So right about here, I thought, ooh, I should take out all my stencils and make the circle that I'm about to draw perfect, and all the other lines that I'm going to draw, I can use the circles and the wavy lines. And then I also thought to myself, nobody else is going to have those palettes. I'm sorry, stencils. So I just left it out, and I figured, just like everybody else, I was going to wing it and see what I would come out with. So as you can see, there's a circle on the top that is not perfect, and yet there's something appealing about it. There's something whimsical and crafty and just really pretty. So that's the other thing about these. Unlike drawing on paper, you can't go back. So I left all the mistakes, I left all the goofs, and it helped to personalize it, and I ended up loving this egg, and you'll see it at the end. So don't be afraid of going in with any colors you want or any patterns you want, or you can even look up traditional eggs or look up patterns that you like, and you can recreate them on your own egg. So like I said before, it's not that easy to draw on here, and I did hard boil them specifically because it's what I always did. Before we dipped our eggs in our house, we boiled them, and then we put those little dye drops into the cup with vinegar, and then we dip the eggs in. Now, whether that's because they crack easily or they stay better, I'm glad I did it because there were a couple times where the eggs started to roll. They never ended up on the floor, but if you're going to be doing this with kids, it's great to have them hard boiled. I think it could save a lot of potential messes. Now here I started to draw little dogwood, and then I changed my mind and I started to draw a rose. And it's not the most beautiful rose that I've ever drawn by any stretch of the imagination, but once again, I decided to leave it and just go from there. And then I went over it with that brighter fuchsia pink again, and I ended up liking it a little bit more. And then I even liked it more after I added a few leaves and a stem, and I liked the way it was all pulling together, all the colors, and it was starting to remind me of the traditional eggs. Right about here, I also realized that I had some metallic Sharpies and also metallic paint pens, but I didn't use them because I didn't test them beforehand, so I don't know if they would blend with the alcohol, and I don't know if they would get all over the place, so I just left them out, and I left it with the basic Sharpie set. Sorry, I'm a little bit off the edge here. So with this picture, with this side of the egg, I decided that I would do a dogwood, and you'll see it at the end. I'm sorry that I was so off center here. So now I have all three flowers drawn, and I decided to just go in and fill in some of the areas with lines and waves. And this part was actually relatively interesting because the egg's shape assisted me in drawing straighter lines. So rather than trying to take the pen and go around, I moved the egg and kept the pen kind of in the same position. So it almost acted like a reverse compass. So that was kind of a cool discovery. Now, as I was going back and forth here, I was, of course, going a little faster than I normally would. So not all of the areas were drying completely. So I got some of the Sharpie on my fingers, and then the Sharpie that was on my fingers transferred back onto the egg. And in a few seconds, I'll show you what you can do when that happens. Here's another imperfect circle on the bottom, surrounded by another imperfect circle. Oh, the other thing with these thicker Sharpies is that you can use the side to make a thicker image. I'm sorry, line. And then you can use the very tip to make a thinner, more fine line. Now I'm just going to speed the rest of this up. I did some dots in the center here and some nice bright fuchsia hearts. And then I decided I would fill in some more of the space with wavy lines. And you can see some of the transfer of ink from the wet spots to some of the white areas. So what I found out is if you dip the Q-tip into the rubbing alcohol, it takes it right off. It's the perfect eraser. So this just got better and better. So I'm just going to speed up the rest as I clean up a few more areas and add a few more decorations to this egg. I probably could have left it here, but I was having so much fun. And I also realized this is perfect for kids. If they're old enough to use Sharpies and markers, this is going to be a fun project. Oh, I also figured out that you can go over the top of the already dyed eggs or the egg that we did sort of the tie-dye alcohol blending, and you can color over it with these Sharpie markers. And I will show you that in action later so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm just finishing this one up, and I'll set this aside. And then I'm going to do my final egg based on the cute little bunnies that are in my new coloring book, the BUNS. And this is the easiest one. I used 2 markers. This one is a dark gray color. And I just did 2 super simple kind of egg-shaped eyes. And then I used a light pink for the nose. And that same gray, you can see me kind of going over and over where I thought the mouth would look good. Darken up the eyes a little bit and then add some eyelashes because I thought it would be cute to be a little girl bunny. And then to add some more detail, I gave her a pink little belly. And you can see this is truly nothing fancy, but it does come out cute. Two little arms and eyebrows. And that's all I decided that this specific egg needed because it's bold enough and it's cute just the way it is. So I cut out 2 ear shapes from just regular printer paper, meaning copy paper. Use the same pink to draw the inside of the bunny ears. Not too neat, not too fancy. Took regular Scotch tape. You can use glue, and I did a few of them with glue, but it takes a minute to dry. So for the sake of the video, I wanted to show you how truly easy this is. Take another piece of tape, and voila, you have a cute bun. Now I went back to the very first egg. It's all dry. You can see it blended nicely. It's almost tie-dye, and I decided to go over the top of the already tie-dyed area and just add some bright fuchsia dots. And I really like the way this egg came out too. So Sharpies are a great Easter tool. Now for all of these eggs, I made little tiny stands. I cut out a thin little strip of paper and decorated it also with Sharpies. You can see them underneath the eggs here. Hearts, lines, circles, and I just made a little ring, closed it up with Scotch tape, and placed the eggs on top. So there you see it, 3 Sharpie eggs. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you follow me. I hope you hit subscribe below and you hit that bell button next to it so you won't miss a thing. And I hope you check out my new BUNS book on Amazon and my Etsy shop, Art by Dia. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye. Oh, P.S. You can find the link for my books and for my Facebook group below. Thank you.